All right, let's chat about how to be confident. I wouldn't even drive at all, and then I was driving across the country by myself. I dropped out of college initially because of my anxiety, only to go back and finish on time, study abroad for a community service program and internship. I was afraid to speak in front of people, and now I manage market calls and a media partnership. I was afraid to fly and be away from my family, and then I moved to Miami. So if I can do it, so can you. I was never not afraid, but I just felt the fear and I did it anyways. You deserve to live the life you want, and you'll get to a point where you're more afraid of missing out on that than you are of doing the things. So if you're ready to gain some confidence and start going towards the life that you know you deserve, then I have some tips for you. Okay, so first we're gonna make a brag file. I've heard it called brag file, I've heard it called portfolio of proof. Basically, I want you to sit and make a list of all the things just like I did. Just like I just shared with you, like what are things that you've overcome that you can really take inventory of and remind yourself how much you've done and that you're fine. Looking at that in one place feels so good. It reminds you of how confident that you should be because you've already made it this far. And it's just some proof that you can do the next hard things and you will take the power away from those things once you face the fear. So, what is in your portfolio of proof? What is in your brag file? What are things that you can be proud of? And I know society makes it seem like negative to be confident and proud of yourself, but no, you should be celebrating all those small wins. Okay, tip two is stop hanging around people who are negative that bring you down. I'm talking about if you're trying to do social media and you have friends that make fun of it. I'm talking about people that, like, if you're confident you can have a healthy relationship, you kind of got to get away from people that are not involved in healthy relationships. And if you don't, you're going to keep putting that in your head that like what you want is impossible. So, removing people or at least spending less time with them. People that either reinforce that old belief that you don't want to believe anymore or bring you down. Because I heard someone say, you're letting someone make you feel bad in your own life. That's true. Like what we're not changing, we're choosing. Choose people that lift you up, that help your confidence not tear it down because they're insecure. The third tip, and my favorite one for everything, is basically exposure therapy. Fly, try new things, lean into whatever it is that's your fear. If you're afraid of talking to people, try going up to people and talking to people. That's not one of mine, unfortunately. For me, it's talking to the camera, and I'm doing it, right? So it's gonna feel uncomfortable at first, but whatever you are feeling resistance to, I was afraid to even get in on these meetings. I'd be like, I don't want to have to do this call. Then I started saying, okay, what? This is an opportunity for me to step into my fear so that I'm not afraid of it anymore. So shifting that mindset of like thinking, oh no, I don't want to do this, I'm afraid of it, to like, how can I grow from this? And I've been doing like these new calls at work for not that long, and I already feel a lot more confident. Try to lean into those things because honestly, all of us are afraid of something. Most of the things I think root down to like wanting to be liked because, right, like, why are you afraid to talk to people? Why are you afraid to present? Why are you afraid? Like, what are you really afraid of? And I feel like, at least for me and majority of people that I've talked to, it kind of all stems back down to like, you care what people think, but the truth is, no one's thinking about you as much as you think. And if they are, most people are projecting. You know, it's better to be seen trying than to not at all. Because not trying is more cringe than looking cringe by trying. Next tip is to dress up. Look good, feel good. Websites for that's like to find your color theory. Basically, what colors look good on you, like finding your colors. Wearing whatever you know gives you confidence, right? There definitely is truth behind that. You get a cute workout set, get a nice water bottle. set yourself up so you're already prepared for what you can control. Another thing is positive self talk. So, like, anytime you look in the mirror and you're thinking, like, oh, I don't like my skin or whatever it might be, try to pay attention to that and shift it. Because, again, like, you'll only tolerate from others what you give to yourself. So, if you're talking more positively to yourself, you're only going to accept that, or it's not going to bother you as much when people do say things, which I have another video on that. But I want to go to the next thing, which can kind of be like combined. So, doing shadow work, loving your dark side and your true self. It's not really just loving the good things, but also the traits and sides of you that like you repress or you're ashamed of. So, for instance, like jealousy or anger, balancing those out, because confidence isn't really saying, oh, I know everything, or oh, I'm so confident that I never get jealous. Because I mean, I do believe you can get to a point where you're more confident, but like sometimes the most confident thing to do is to say, I don't know, or I'm afraid, or I feel this way, right? It's having nothing to prove and nobody to impress, in my opinion. And the final tip is EFT. I have been doing EFT for years, and lately I've been seeing it like pop up more. I don't know if it's just what you focus on expands, but it has really improved my life, and there's more to come on that for me. But for now, one thing I'll say is if you literally, so when the body feels safe, the mind does. So what it basically is like you're tapping on like acupuncture points and you're going through the negative emotions you're feeling, and then you kind of shift it to like positive or making good of it and accepting it. It's really accepting it. And again, like what you resist persists. So things that I would literally do if I'm dealing with like a confidence issue, you can YouTube for free EFT for confidence, and there'll be generic ones where people take you through. And I've done it for public speaking, I've done it for literally everything. But then another step forward, and I've also done this, is I will go to ChatGPT and I will say, I'm dealing with a confidence issue making friends. I'm dealing with relationship confidence issues. And I will put in my specific scenario and ask for it to make me an EFT script. And it essentially is going to go in, and it might even ask you, it's asked me like more specific questions. The more detail you give it, the more specific to your issue it's going to be. And sometimes the more you do it, you peel layers of an onion, and then you get to something deeper of like, oh my gosh, this is actually blocking me in these different areas of my life. And you can then ask for it to make a more specific one. You can say, okay, EFT for confidence. And then you think of a time when you maybe were embarrassed. Now you want to tap on embarrassment. Like it could shift over time. And this has been so good for me, to the point of like, even this, like getting out of your head and into your body. I feel like that's the only way that my body has like truly I've ever felt safe in my body. But I will be coming back with more of that because it's really changed my life so much, and I've been doing it long enough now that I'm like way confident in it. Maybe it was the tapping itself that made me more confident in it. I've said this before on my channel, and I really believe it, that like unfortunately society a lot of times deems success as like a numbers game, or more is better. But a lot of people come off confident and they're not actually confident. It's really from insecurities. A lot of things that have helped me be confident from my portfolio of proof are things that you can't necessarily see, right? Like it's relationships I cut off that didn't feel good. It's leaving something behind. Sometimes the hardest things to do is not like able to be totally seen. It's more of like, you know, for yourself, like I did this hard thing that most people wouldn't do. I think there's so many ways to go about confidence, but the most important things is that like who you're around, how you talk to yourself, and like I said earlier, the shift of like feeling safe in your body, where you're able to actually come from a place of like your authentic self, and not just because you're physically frozen or panicking that you make a decision, but getting grounded in yourself. I had a lot of fun making this. It's like I often need my own advice, and you can never stop working on your confidence. Things change in life, life changes. We go through different phases, but don't let your fear of looking like a beginner or whatever, don't let it stop you, because the more you do and the more you add to that little file, the more confident you will become. Like and subscribe if you are looking to grow, because I have a lot more coming. And thank you for watching.